party time. Come on now, don't it feel good? Wow, we're gonna rock the world. We're gonna have big fun. When you hear the siren, well, you know the party's on. We're gonna rock the world. Yeah, let's light it up. Gonna make you feel alright. We're gonna rock the world. Rock the world.
Round 18 of AFL action, 5 weeks before the finals. Welcome to Waverley Park in Melbourne for this game between St Kilda and the Adelaide Crows. Well, the Saints are playing for their position in the finals, and I suppose mathematically the Crows can still make it, but I think realistically their chances went a few weeks ago. Let's take a look at their position on the ladder and see where they are, and you'll see that St Kilda down in 7th place with a record of 9 and 8. They have been as high as 3rd this season, but they've stumbled recently, losing 5 of their last 7 games. Then we go down to the Crows, who've won the premiership in the last 2 years. They're 11th with a win-loss record of 7 and 10, and they've won just 3 of their last 11 matches. Let's have a look at the run home for both these teams. And the Saints, they play the Bulldogs next week, then the Kangaroos. They're 2 tough ones, 2 top teams, then Carlton and West Coast. Tough run home for the Saints. And the Crows play Brisbane, then they have to go to Sydney to play the Swans, then Port Adelaide in Showdown 6, and then the Kangaroos in the final round.
The 1999 AFL Coca-Cola Premiership season, proudly brought to you by Telstra, making life easier. The McDonald's Footy Burger, the double quarter pounder with cheese. Foster's Light Ice for extreme refreshment, and the new Mitsubishi Magna 3.5, the next generation.
And welcome to the Crows as they make their way onto Waverley Park. This ground has only 5 weeks left of its existence because it'll be sold in the off-season. A chance to welcome Mick McGuan, the former Collingwood champ, to our commentary. Mick, a couple of years ago these two played in the grand final. They're a long way from that now.
Yeah, well, they certainly are. Well, St Kilda have ideally got the opportunity to cement a spot if they win today. And Adelaide are a team that really haven't travelled well this year. So when it comes to that scenario, your own personal pride takes over when it comes to a competition.
Well, that's why they've slumped from their position of premiers down to 11th. They've won just 1 of 8 away from home.
Yeah, well, they certainly have struggled, as that particular statistic indicates. And St Kilda, they have struggled also at Waverley, losing their last 3 games to the Brisbane Lions, Collingwood and, of course, Hawthorn when they kicked 10 goals in that 3rd quarter. But today, these two teams have got personal pride to play for. St Kilda have ideally got an opportunity to cement a top spot in the top 8. Robert Harvey, they'll welcome back his return. He's such a critical player for the midfield role. Good players in midfield win a lot of the footy, and Harvey certainly does that.
And Rob Harvey is the one change for the Saints today. He comes in and Sam Cranage makes way for him.
Yeah, well, that's a fairly balanced squad when you look through the names representing the St Kilda Football Club. A lot lies on Nathan Burke, Thompson, Harvey and Everett's shoulders. We know that. Stewie Lowe across half forward and Barry Hall at full forward. Those two players will have to win a lot of the ball in the marking contest and obviously score fluently.
Well, there are the Crows out on the ground loosening up, and they've made one change this week. Mark Stevens remarkably missed only 1 game after dislocating his kneecap, and he replaces Robran, who's out with a hamstring. So the Crows just can't take a trick with their big men. Robran's their 4th possible ruckman who's gone out this year.
Yeah, well, certainly that responsibility will go back to Herbert or maybe Stengline number 20. Who gets the first role on Everett, we'll have to wait and see. Possibly Herbert, but it could be Stengline. Those two players be interchangeable from the bench. And no doubt Malcolm Blight will try to keep it as flexible as he possibly can.
Brett Burton's had an amazing first year in the AFL, coming from the SANFL, and he might get a big task today.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised, Drew, to see him actually line up against Robert Harvey. They say he's the fittest player on the list in the Adelaide Crows, so I dare say he'll be getting that role on Harvey. But promising young player, can mark the ball, does kick fairly accurately for goal.
And Nigel Smart has been playing more up in midfield this year, and that's a club record, 183 games. He's in the purple patch at the moment.
Well, actually, he's been playing centre wing, Drew, and today I wouldn't be surprised to see him penetrate the half-forward line and try to kick some goals.
So, grey old Saturday afternoon. We're starting to get a little bit of winter, and it feels a bit wintry out here. Nathan Burke, the St Kilda captain, going back to his group. And a chance to welcome to our commentary this afternoon, former AFL Coach of the Year, Terry Wheeler.
Good afternoon, Drew, and what a match this will be. Very important for St Kilda, holding a place in the 8, and for Malcolm Blight, it's his last coaching appearance here in Melbourne. because the Crows don't return unless they make finals. And as you said in the opener, that's a very slim possibility at this stage.
And down on the boundary line, Neil Curley joins us. And Curls, we've heard a bit of a whisper that's been going around Adelaide that 50th gamer today, Kane Johnson, might be thinking of wanting to return to Melbourne.
Well, there has been speculation regarding that. I hope it's not correct, because young Kane Johnson is going to have a great future ahead of him. He's already played in 2 premiership sides and had a few injuries this year, but he has got a lot of talent, and I think he's got a good future ahead of him. So I hope from the Crows' point of view that is not correct.
Now, what about today? Who are they going to play in the ruck? They've got an all-Australian ruckman, Peter Everett, nobody to play on him.
Now, you boys wait till you see the move of the Crows' ruck. I naturally thought it would be Herbert along with everybody else, but he will take his position on the interchange bench to start with, and Malcolm's done it again. He's brought up another surprise. So
I think I can see it,
stay tuned.
Well, there's Spider Everett, who's about 6'9", so he is one of the keys to St Kilda today. He didn't play in the round 3 clash when the Crows won over at Football Park, and the Crows need to find somebody to play on him. Let's scan the centre 4 for the Crows.
Well, we've got Stevens and Burton in there. So they're the two. It looks like Mark Stevens is the one lining up on the other side of the centre bounce. So just his athleticism and ability to carry the ground.
And another surprise also, Wheels. Robert Harvey starting from the goal square alongside Barry Hall. And at this stage, it looks like Rashudo is the player picking up Robert Harvey. And Bassett's gone to pick up Barry Hall.
So Mark Stevens, who missed just 1 week with a dislocated kneecap, starts the game in the ruck on Everett. And Everett wins it, but Stevens, with a great second effort, makes sure it's not going anywhere.
We don't think he wouldn't have been fired up for that first bounce, Stevens. It's a remarkable comeback from that injury, and yeah, a very athletic young man to be able to take the task on, and the big wide open spaces of Waverley could well suit Mark Stevens in that role.
So here's another chance for Peter Everett, but this time no restriction. Players all round him. Everett wins it easily, tries to find Andrew Thompson. And Stevens wins the first possession of the game. Well done, son. Out to the wing to the skipper, Mark Bickley. He dodges, weaves, the hand pass blocked by Lenny Hayes. It goes to Smart, inside the 50. Cleared by Wakeland. The Wakeland twins in operation today. Former Adelaide boys, of course. Bassett in front of Hall, but can't take the mark. It comes to James. Ormond Allen, good tackle by big bustling Barry Hall, and he wins the free kick.
Yeah, just too slow to react. Good defensive pressure by Hall.
Half distance to Jones. A half volley. He's 45 metres out. McLaren didn't give it enough, and Rashudo's back on the line.
So Rashudo back in the square with the job on Robert Harvey in the forward line at the start of the match. Stevens in the ruck, takes the mark on the outer side.
And Hudgston's got the job on Darren Jarman at fullback for St Kilda.
Mark Stevens close to home, a Gippsland boy, again finds Bickley in the centre of the ground. Towards half forward go the Crows, and they're the Wakelands. This one's Shane in the long sleeves. Forward handball to Lowe, gets there the second time. They still haven't quite cleared the area. Ziller under pressure from Costa, tackling strong and hard to open the game. Francis trying to barge his way out. Lowe lifts the ball out, handballs. Burke concedes ground, found a little bit of space now with Peckett. On out to Jones, he has time and room. Forward pockets free, goes towards Everett. Dragged down by Ormond Allen, no doubt about it. Just too short, Ormond Allen in the contest, and gives away the free kick.
And that's
Terry,
Sorry, Curls, down to you, mate.
Thank you, Mike. This guy is going to be one hell of a handful today for the Crows. And I think you called it right, Drew. Stevens, to have any effect on the game, will have to rely greatly on his second effort.
So big Peter Everett, 3 goals in the last quarter last week to get St Kilda home against Melbourne. Finished with 5-3. His best effort for the season. Doesn't look all that happy with this one. So the first score on the board this afternoon to the Saints, the single behind.
Yeah, and also across the half-forward line for Adelaide. Young's been a penetrating player off half-back for St Kilda. Goodwin's gone to that part of the ground basically to play a negating role on Young.
Well, Mark Stevens is coming off with blood coming from his forehead, so this is exactly what the Crows don't need. And I suppose they'll have to bring Herbert off the bench.
Well, you would think so. Yes, here he comes. Actually, while we're there on the bench, there was Herbert, of course, Stingland, Johnson and Gallagher, and for St Kilda, Ryan, Elliott, Campbell, Gowers.
So Mark Stevens goes to the bench. It doesn't look like much of a cut, so he should be back soon. And Lucas Herbert, who 2 weeks ago came over here and might as well have come in his street clothes because he didn't even get a run, is now going to have to play on an All-Australian ruckman in Peter Everett. Jamison to kick in for the Crows. The breeze is going right to left, so the Crows have it in the first quarter. He's taken a long time. The umpire tells him to hurry up. Burton still back in the back pocket. What a first season for Brett Burton. He's taken about 8 candidates for the Cadbury's Mark of the Year, and he's been fantastic at ground level as well. Stewie Lowe works his way to the front but can't mark. Mitchell to Everett. Everett playing it like a rover. Oops, bit of a slip. McLaren back to Mitchell. 70 metres from goal. Hall, might have been a bit of a push there, but no whistle. Hall flips the ball back to Hayes. He's swamped by Smart. McLeod has it for the Crows. Great football. It was packed back there in defence, but they've broken well. Bickley to half forward. McGregor, good mark.
Yeah, terrific kick there by Bickley, just to the advantage of McGregor. He didn't have to break stride. He's been picked up by Shane Wakeland at centre-half back. His brother Darryl's got the job on Brian Benke.
Just an 18-year-old. Didn't think he could make the distance. Smart gets a bit of his own medicine.
Should be 52.
And they'll take him right to the goal line. Well, fancy Smart being bumped like that by a little bloke, Mitchell.
In the end, there's no need for that, Drew. That's just undisciplined act. Smart had the ball in his possession. Without doubt, the umpires made the right decision. And Smart should kick the first goal of this contest. And as we intimated, he started across centre wing. Today, you'll see him push forward across the half-forward line and hopefully become a multiple goal kicker from that part of the ground for the Adelaide Crows.
First goal of the game to Nigel Smart.
Prior to the game, Nigel Smart been very good on the wing the last couple of weeks for the Crows, but this week has the instruction of trying to get goals. He gets the Crows first in this match. The Crows come again from half-back, out to the path of Smart again. Feeling at home on the wing, holds the ball a long time, too long in fact, and he's been pinged by the umpire.
Yeah, good persistence by his opponent in Thompson, and also Tony Francis, the one who never gave up on the chase. That's the attitude that Timmy Watson would want to see from his players.
So from half-back, Nathan Burke, playing more in defence this year. The kick falls short towards his partner in Harvey. Here's Harvey's first touch of the day, and it's a gem. The Rolls-Royce is back out of the garage. Jones takes off, slips himself. Back to Harvey again. Poise, class, delivers into the forward pocket, floats on him beautifully. Right in onto the chest there. Joey McLaren in the pocket, takes the mark.
Well, they've just alternated these two players. McLaren started up the ground because Adelaide kicked the first goal of the match. McLaren just started from the goal square. Hall and Lowe were both up the ground, just trying to isolate Jamison, who's McLaren's direct opponent. McLaren is very quick on the lead.
And boys, Harvey is moving very smoothly.
Here's McLaren. Doesn't quite make it. One of 5 St Kilda players to play every game this year, Joey McLaren, after playing 11, 2 and 11 the last 3 years. But there's the man everyone's come to see, particularly Saints fans, Robbie Harvey. He's only played 1 out of the last 5 games. Bounces for Hart, comes back the second time, wheels around, chips in towards centre half back, and there's Burton courageously standing his ground.
Another couple of interesting matchups in midfield. Burton has got the job on Thompson. He'll try to run off him at every opportunity. Also, Hayes is with Bickley, and also Francis picking up the dangerous Andrew McLeod.
Comes back to a big pack in front. Young steers the ball well for Andrew Thompson, who takes the mark in front of Burton. Young follows up from defence to full forward. Barry Hall on the bounce. Running out of room. Good smother by Bassett.
Yeah, terrific defensive tactic by Bassett. You can just sort of tell as soon as Hall won possession of the ball, he was going to try to screw the ball around his body at goal. But terrific defensive stuff there by...
Here's Robert Harvey having a shot. He's come into this game under a cloud with his calf injury. Forced him to miss 4 of the last 5 weeks. Lowe takes clean possession. Back to McLaren on the 50. Had to let it bounce.
Jones
he beats
is on.
the tackle.
Jones is on.
Aussie. And Aussie Jones only 20 metres out from goal. And even though he's kicking into and across the breeze, it should be the Saints' first goal.
And Mick, the impressive part there, what created the opportunity for McLaren to come through was Harvey. That Harvey ran to the contest and the Crows automatically go to try and shut down Harvey. And all of a sudden the gap opened for McLaren to come through.
Aussie Jones, it's away on the breeze to the left, another behind. So the Saints have had most of the play, but are squandering their chances.
Yeah, they certainly controlled the footy, centre forward in this opening part of the first quarter. Already it's inside 50, St Kilda 5 to Adelaide 1. Terrific efficiency from Adelaide's point of view. They've kicked 1 goal from that entry. St Kilda certainly have to kick goals when they get the opportunity.
Jamison brings it out to this near side.
Good play.
Foreman Allen off the ground, gets some 40 metres down the track. Shane Wakeland in front. McGregor comes with a tackle, but the two Wakeland boys work together. They're smothered. Free kick against them.
Yeah, in the tackle, it was too high over Benke. Benke just tried to get behind the play on that occasion. He's still got to come and present himself and make himself a target, because McGregor across half forward's only a young player, and you can't expect him to do it all by himself.
So Brian Benke, who was so very good against Kudafidis a couple of weeks back, towards half forward. There he is. Burton, off he goes into the square. Whack it in. First goal, they're away.
Efficiency was good once inside 50 for a goal. Now they've gone in twice for 2 goals. 100% by the Crows. Saints have had most of the play, but trail. Lowe gets it down. Francis thrown to the ground. Saints fans want a free kick. Nothing doing, it'll be balled up.
Drew, even at this early stage of the game, there's something about the Crows that I like, that they're all running. They look very enthusiastic and very confident.
It's interesting to have a looking at their forward line structure too, Curls. 5 players are around that 50-metre arc, all sort of congested, obviously trying to run to space, and they're allowing the hole behind with Jarman and Hutchison one-on-one.
That's correct. See, McGregor's the only one with any great deal of height, so, you know, they're ground players, Ella boys.
St Kilda have gone inside 5 times for just 3 behinds. Crows have gone inside twice for 2 goals. Stevens is back on the ground after being patched up. He wins in ruck to McLeod.
Oh, good hands.
Fantastic by Rasciuto to Costa. He clears the centre square. 55 out, Freeze behind. Right to the line. And punts through. Oh, wasn't punched through for a behind. Still in the field of play. Burke might have wished it gone through.
Oh, good hands, Jarman.
And brilliantly kept in by Vardy. How about that? And Goodwin takes the mark.
Well, very rarely do you see Nathan Burke fumble, but that was just due to the defensive pressure. Here's Burke. He had 1.5 metres spare on Jarman, but very rarely will you see Nathan Burke take his eyes off the footy at the critical time and fumble the ball. Vardy could have had a shot, but saw Goodwin. Good play.
3 goals straight to the Crows. Well, they should have rushed to behind.
Yeah, no doubt. Hudson tried to do the right thing. I think he just hit the ball a little bit too early and kept the ball back in play. But you go back to centre field, 2 terrific players, initiators from Adelaide's point of view. One, McLeod gave it to Rasciuto, and Rasciuto's vision to find the run of Costa was outstanding football. Those 2 players in the congestion set the play up to give Goodwin the opportunity to kick the Adelaide Crows' 3rd goal.
So Goodwin gets his first for the year. Crows have 3 on the board. St Kilda have had most of the football in the early part of the game, but they haven't been able to get the score on the board. St Kilda most efficient. Francis on the left. Wobbles it in. Mitchell in front spot. Takes the mark. 50 out. Chip kick finds Thompson.
And 50. That ball was jolted out of his arms.
By Derek Humphrey-Smith. No, he says no, but the mark clearly had been taken.
Well, isn't this 50? What's this rule all about?
And down it goes.
He dropped it, boys.
Did he?
It was hard to sort of tell from the replay upstairs, but Ben Thompson, he's playing centre wing on Nigel Smart. Smart's kicked 1. Here's an ideal opportunity to equal the ledger.
So the former Glenelg man on the left foot goes long at it. It's drifted away again. So 4 straight behinds open the scoring for St Kilda, whereas for Adelaide 3 straight.
And all from set shots, Terry. No pressure, set shots, no further out than 35 metres. You've got to kick them.
They don't help the confidence, do they?
No.
And Tim Watson looks on. Burton, forward handball to the run of Hart. As Neil Curley said, he likes the run of the Crows here this afternoon, and it continues into half forward, but Matthew Young halfback, arguably the best Saint player back there. kicks to arguably the best in the middle in Harvey.
And Robert Harvey clears out of defence to Max Hutchton on his own defensive 50. Wants the centre corridor. Oh, Wakeland just gets there in time. Back to Hutchton. Now they zigzag across the ground to Ozzie Jones. They haven't advanced it all that far since Hutchton got it at half-back. Over the top to Thompson. Kick by Ben Thompson. Everett on the forward line. Well, you can't beat height. And they've got nothing to beat it.
And a great kick from Thompson too. There was just too much messing around across half-back. They were looking, trying to get it going. But when Ben Thompson gets it, more often than not, he does kick it long, and that's exactly what you need, particularly when you're structured up with Everett in the forward line.
Not an easy shot, this one, with a breeze coming from an angle.
Basically got to kick for that left-hand goalpost and let the ball come back against the breeze.
There's the kick by Everett. That's well judged. That's a beauty.
It's the centre bounce after the Everett goal. He's back up there to do it. And look at that, over the back, but well read by the Crows. A quick exchange ends up with Costa to half forward. Defensive fly and attacking fly, they're all up there, down at ground level. Ben Thompson with Peckett, with Young,
good kick
to the near side. Here's Everett. He will play forward of the ball for the most of the afternoon, you would expect, putting pressure on the Crows' defence. To Harvey, forward line. Lowe didn't go at it that hard. And Bassett steps in to take the mark.
Crows making a change here. Gallagher on for Orman Allen, I would say.
Front on spoil by Stewie Lowe. Bassett's kick. Benke almost. Looks like a singer in a rock and roll band, Brian Benke.
Norman Allen, he was the player that started centre wing on Ozzie Jones. Gave him far too much latitude. I think that's the reason why Malcolm Blight has made that change.
Everett against Hart, and guess what? Hart beat him and gained about 20 metres.
Also, they've just brought Bickley from the ground. Johnson's come onto the ground. No doubt they're trying to rotate their midfield group as much as possible.
So here we go again. Everett gets a hand of this one. Ben Thompson's been prominent in the last 5 minutes. Hart sweeps up at ground level. Johnson, away to Hart. Out in front of goals. Good kick. Vardy! Oh, Burton, he's come from nowhere. He's knocked Vardy out of the contest. And Vardy said, who's got it?
He's just got terrific courage while the ball's in the air. Irrespective whether it's a teammate or an opposition player, he's just got eyes only for the football. And he is no doubt, with probably Adam Goods being the find of the year for their respective clubs.
Well, the way he came obliquely to that contest was a little bit like the mark that Winston Abraham took in Canberra last year. Just out from the side.
Yep.
See, I feel it's always a good sign to see two players going for one ball.
Burton's shot for goal looks good. The Crows can do no wrong.
MobileNet is revolutionary.
Brett Burton has 2 goals. The only player on the ground to do that. The other goals with the Crows are with Smart and Goodwin. The lone goal scorer, Everett, for St Kilda. Here's Thompson again on the left foot. Down towards Lowe. He's caught 3 deep, but the big man stretches over the top to take it. On in the square, Barry Hall. He's caught behind. Now he steps in front. Drops the mark. Prosciutto barges through Mitchell. Along the boundary line, he finds Hart.
That was strong.
Hart smothered down. Johnson, game number 50. Away they go. Gallagher just onto the ground. Dumped afterwards. Free kick down the ground. Burton takes the mark. Off to McLeod.
Kane Johnson wanted to go on with it, and then he realised, oops, it was Everett. I think I'll go quietly.
Goodwin. He's taken over the boundary line and then boundary throw-in on the outer side. It's all the Crows at the moment.
Look at this, Everett, and he gets him high and late.
Fellas, I think we've got to say there is a bit of breeze going down the Crows' way.
Here's Harvey. Steps on out just along the ground towards the heir apparent. Jones under pressure immediately. He takes the ball. It's too high.
Down the ground again,
And
Terry.
free kick. Yep. So Jones in amongst the action early. That's 6 disposals he's had. Thompson's the benefactor of this one. He's kicked a low, falls short. That is low. In towards Wakeland, and he's got it on the chest. So Shane Wakeland drifting on down the ground finds himself at centre half forward. with the mark. Getting in hauled. Falls short of him. He couldn't take the mark. Jarman just quickly on out towards the boundary line. A race towards it. It bounces. It sits. McGregor met. He's over the line. So is the ball. I'll throw it in. 14 points the difference. Crows leading 20 minutes. Now into the time-on period of the first quarter.
It shows you how they're flooding back lines. There's Jarman sweeping up behind half-back for the Crows. Boundary throw in, Saints in attack. Everett wins in front of Andrew Thompson. Approaches the 50, good centering kick. Lowe. Well, Stewie Lowe starting to get into the action a bit now. That's his third mark today, but he's been averaging just 5 marks a game since round 10. So he's gone off the boil. And there was a game earlier this year out at Waverley where he took 18 in one game.
Yeah, and that's very strong hands. Saw there on the picture from the Goodyear blimp. Shot above the ground here at Waverley. Terrific strong hands by Lowe. But what you will see today, when Everett pushes forward, Lowe more or less pushes back to be an extra man out of the St Kilda forward line. Hart, whether he goes with him or not, we'll have to wait and see.
35 metres out. That's way left. Mitchell up early and high.
Good centering kick.
Ozzie Jones to the top of the square, but Rashudo's there for the Crows. Rashudo across to the back pocket. Jamison clears in front of Lenny Hayes, but he'll have to be good. Oh, good gather by the youngster. To Ozzie. Kick by Jones. Thompson. Bassett spoils. Still with Andrew Thompson. Now outside 50. Good shepherd by Harvey. It comes to Zilla. Low again in the chop. Almost. Barry Hall run down. Burton kicking goals and making tackles.
Oh, he's played out of the ball.
It's a big call from the umpire. I thought the tackle from Burton on Hall did take him forward.
Yeah, you have a look at this, Terry, once again, and the side-on tackle, it might have been side-on, but just to say the players held the ball, it's a very difficult decision.
There was a question mark on Barry Hall earlier in the week. Didn't complete the week at training. He's under early pressure. His side is too. They need to get a score on the board. The Saints supporters taking their anger out on the umpires. And there he is, Barry Hall.
Yeah, just having a look at Barry Hall in this first stage of the first quarter. He seems to be moving okay. A couple of times he's got off Bassett, his opponent, but kicks that have been delivered to him in his area just fallen short of its target. Bassett on a couple of occasions sport well.
Hey, fellas, I thought Smart would be a tall wingman, but this young Thompson's taller again.
Well, there it is. There's a height advantage. The umpire's not happy with what he's seen just at the moment, umpire Andrew Coates.
It's just a show of strength off the ball, yep. Terry. There's not much in that. Both players are trying to get in the right spot to receive the ball from one of these ruck contests. There it is there.
So, Smart slaps it down, but Harvey takes it. Works well with young Lenny Hayes across the body. Good kick in towards Hall. He's caught behind spoils from Bassett. McLaren towards Francis. Tony Francis on the left. It bounces favourably for Jones. All he has to do is pick it up, straighten up, uses the left, drags it round. That ain't bad, Jonesy. That's a goal.
Why?
9 possessions. Earlier in the season, he couldn't get 9 possessions in a whole game. He dropped twice. Comes to McLeod, deep inside the 50. Punch away by Peckett. Vardy, as soon as he got it, he was bowled over by Burke. Peckett again.
Good pressure.
Oh, well done by Edwards to take him out. Throw in. The crowd want a free kick to St Kilda. There's a bit of heat in this game. Oh, I love it like that. Warming up a cool Saturday afternoon.
But that's a terrific effort by Edwards. He was involved in the initial contest and really worked hard defensively to keep the ball in the Crows forward 50.
And here's a Crows free kick from the boundary throw in on the 50 and a chance for Smart with the breeze to nail one here. Nigel Smart. It starts right. It comes back, but not enough. Oh, it's a mark on the line by Jarman.
How easy was that? He just made things look too easily. No doubt, 2 players, Hutchton and Lowe, would like to have another chance at that, but they just couldn't get the ball across the goal line and defend in the appropriate manner. But Jarman, very composed, took a terrific mark. He'll work his way through this situation, run around maybe on his left foot.
Close in. He's improved the angle and kicked a terrific goal.
Say it again, Mick, in case people didn't hear what you just said.
He's a freak.
He is. Absolutely.
Look at the grin. He not only was goalless last week, he was scoreless. So to get a goal in the first quarter today, here's the free kick to Smart. And once again, the Saints should have got this through for a rush behind. That's 2 goals that Crows have kicked, and the Saints should have conceded 2 points.
He probably had less than a half second to assess whether do I put my hands out and mark the footy. Good players at this level don't fumble, and there's a prime example when you've got clean hands.
So Darren Jarman, an amazing 51 goals, 17 this year.
Unbelievable conversion.
He's the difference. Here's McGregor, a young man making his way in the game. Young charges it down, loses it. Edwards, committed to the football, does very well to stop that flow. That's a win to the Crows there, that bounce from Edwards.
Pretty hot footy for St Kilda at the moment. On a couple of occasions they've missed targets. They've just been unsure in their decision-making, mainly due to the pressure from behind with the chase from the Adelaide Crows players.
So Herbert to do it. Here's Edwards now on the left foot. He's just tossed it up out of the contest. That's not bad at all. It's touched inside the contest, but his work was excellent. The last 3 or 4 minutes from Edwards, he's been aggressive at half forward. Here it is here. And Young just gets a hand to it. They all appeal. So just the behind. Peckett into Francis. Already in a verbal barrage with Andy McLeod is Tony Francis. Wouldn't be a game without Tony doing that. Lenny Hayes. Harvey towards the wing. Here's Darryl Wakeland in that wing position, wanting to move it on quickly. Does so to Harvey again, carrying the ball to Jones. He's 55 metres out. A disciplined kick towards the top of the square. Here comes Hall. He's got it. Strong and hard at the ball was Barry Hall.
Once again, Robert Harvey, he was the architect in that setup. That was his 8th possession. Firstly, he kicked the footy on the outside of his foot to Wakeland. Great vision. More importantly, followed up his kick. His second effort was to provide the handball for Jones. And as Terry said, very disciplined kick to the front of the goal square, or about 20 metres in front of the goal square, but directly in front for Hall to compete.
Blood rule, boys.
Francis coming off for the Saints.
It's interesting to see also that Stevens has been removed from the ground because Everett went to centre half forward when Stuart Lowe went into the ruck. Herbert's gone to play as a tall defender on
Big free side. 35 metres out. The full forward's done it. So Hall gets his first. St Kilda get their third and edge closer.
Yeah, an important shot on goal by Barry Hall, but terrific setup once again by the St Kilda team. Ozzie Jones has been in outstanding form in this first quarter with 10 possessions. Good centering kick to the advantage of Barry Hall, who jumped into the contest, jumped early, marked the footy at its highest point, and converted accordingly for the St Kilda team.
Ball back in the centre with just half a minute to go to quarter time. Herbert gets the ball out of the middle. Johnson beats a couple. Puts it very high to the 50. They want to mark from this. Scrap at ground level. A hand pass up to Burke. He clears to centre wing. Everett works his way to the front. Beats Herbert easily. Away to Ben Thompson. Left footer to the 50. Hall, he didn't mark it before the siren went. Hall reckons it's his ball he wants to play on, but the siren beat you, Baz. Crowd not happy, but it clearly beat him before the mark was completed. Well, what a first quarter by the Crows. I've seen them about 6 out of the last 7 weeks. I reckon that's the best they've played in that time. They did have a breeze, but they kicked 5 goals to 2 in that opening term. And against a team which is, you'd reckon, going to play in the finals. Great performance by the Crows to lead 5-1 to 3-4. I wouldn't think could possibly be 100% fit and fancy having to play in the ruck. Here he goes again against Everett. Who gets the next possession? Well, Andrew Thompson somehow. Hayes. He was looking for Harvey, didn't reach him. Comes back to Zilla. And the hand pass came in from Gowans. And right on the boundary line, Bassett takes the mark for the Crows. He works towards the outer side. Hart and Smart to combine.
And this has been an intriguing matchup between these two players. Hart obviously trying to run off Stuart Lowe had every opportunity.
Aussie Jones going like an Austin Healy. And well tuned at that. Ball out of bounds.
And Drew Gowans has come onto the ground. He's playing in a forward pocket. He's replaced Gavin Mitchell. And Brett James is his direct opponent.
Big Stewie Lowe. Only Matthew Richardson has taken more marks in the competition this year. But as Drew said earlier, it's dried up in the last few weeks for Stewie, as it's always been tough for the Saints in that period too. Here's Harvey, the man they need back.
Just fractionally high.
Robert Harvey towards centre half forward. Hall, a little bit of a push out at ground level. Rashudo, who has the job on Harvey, across the half back line towards this near wing. Getting back is Zilla.
Yeah,
very good mark against Costa. Turns it back into centre half forward. Here comes Hall again. Wakeland's in there with him. Hard over the top. Everett does the roving. Stands, turns onto his left foot, kicks it across, and there's Stevens back there. Takes on Lowe. Wins with a good kick towards the boundary line. Some 40 metres around. Clears outside the 50 in front of Thompson for a throw-in.
Was that a drop kick, Wheels?
Not quite.
Looked like he actually did a drop kick to the right spot and right area of the ground to get the ball across the boundary line.
So in the end, he got what he wanted. Jamison out into the path there of Burton, who gives it on to Smart. Runs it along to the wing, now to the outside. Edwards falling to ground, couldn't take the mark. Peckett stays with him. Good handball on the up to Benke. His kick towards half forward. Hudson waits on the bounce. Jarman swallows him up with a tackle. It's too high. Vardy couldn't get away. Free kick paid to Hudson in the front spot.
That's just the one poor occasion in Darren Jarman's game of just giving away those free kicks back there.
Young run, gives on towards Thompson. Disposal number 8 to Ben Thompson. It's been very good. Burke along the wing. Looks for and finds Jones, racking up possessions. As Drew Morfitt said, 10 in the first quarter. And already a couple in this second quarter. To centre half forward again. Hall floats on over the top. Harvey and Rashudo.
Well, the Saints should have kicked a few in the first quarter, and Lenny should have kicked that.
So Jamison brings it in. Game 149 for Rod Jamison.
That's
great
great
servant
play.
of the Crows. Bassett into Gallagher. Gallagher, one of 6 first-year players for the Crows out there now, so they are in a transition stage. Thompson drops it, falls in front of him, so Burton swoops on it, just with the right foot, kicks it off the ground to the outer side. And a boundary thrown in front of Goodwin.
Obvious lack of talking there by his teammate behind him.
2 Saints there together, and Ben Thompson didn't take it. Surely should have. Shane Wakeland in front. Boundary throwing didn't come in far enough. So no side can clear the area. They're appealing for a free kick. It's not there. 8 points is the lead to the Crows.
And Wheels, usually in that situation, coaches like to see a player who's directly in front of a teammate, him call him back into the ball so you can be his eyes for you.
I don't know about you boys, but the colours of these two clubs seem to meld into each other. There's no real distinction between the colours of the two. I wonder if sometimes they confuse the players.
Yeah, it could be a valid point, Drew, because it is quite difficult when you are actually watching from a supporter's point of view. But probably down at ground level, you can distinctly know your teammates.
Aussie Jones on fire here today. Away to McLaren. Joey approaches the 50. He should kick a running goal here. Joey McLaren.
You are an awful person.
We've all been thinking it.
If you were my husband, I'd kick your
Now Rosie O'Donnell's telling it like it is.
little Miss Sucky Face here.
That's
Sucky
enough.
Face.
It's Ali versus Rosie. Monday on Ali McBeal.
My daughter is special. The Lord will look after her as he sees fit.
Tuesday, one intense hour of drama you must experience.
Get off her. Right. Don't just touch her. Please don't let it.
Back off and let me do my job.
On All Saints.
I've never
It's all
seen that ever.
happening here at Waverley. It is all. Aussie Jones, Joey McLaren on the ground are doing it. And Drew Morford, he's been taken from behind. There'll be an inquiry later on, I'm sure.
He's trying to knock his kneecap back in, Wheels.
Young, the Saints. They've got the first of the second quarter and they've got a sniff now. They're back to within a couple of points. Lenny Hayes, outside 50. Beautifully into low. He takes it.
Unbelievable. I said it all.
While you're there, fellas, Jones has another new opponent now in Goodwin.
He's been the difference just at this early stage, getting the Saints back into it, Curls.
He certainly's found a lot of footy on the ground level.
I'm back, boys. I'm back. I got poleaxed. Who did it?
Well, it wasn't this man. Stewie Lowe directly in front for the Saints. He's missed it.
Never work in a commentary box where there's a ledge.
Boys, interchange bench for the Crows at this stage. Herbert, Orman Allen, Jamison and Gallagher.
Yeah, that's not a bad move from Malcolm Bligh, putting Goodwin down onto Aussie Jones. Goodwin started half forward on Young. Probably did his job reasonably well there, but Jones is just winning too much of the footy across half forward for St Kilda.
Thompson into half forward. Everett flies, takes the rebound in the air. Couldn't take it to Granley. He was held. They want to free the Saints, but now they'd be happier now because Jones has got it on 50. Goes long, Hall gets back, can't get it. It bounces out. And Drew Morford bounces back in.
For all the ball he's getting, Terry, Jones, he's not quite finishing his work with his long kicks.
This was one that he should have been able to finish. His confidence is growing right on 50. And as you said, the aid of the breeze, Curls.
Now the throw in the forward pocket. Everett tries to work it to the back. Andrew Thompson kick smothered. And the ball towards the line. Hard angle here for the Saints, out of bounds. Well, I strapped the seatbelt back on. I could hardly work out who was running which way. Saints bench, Curls.
The which bench?
Saints were on. There's Mitchell just having a bit of a hamstring stretch. And the ball's back out of bounds. So the Crows by just a point. And I think Curls' point at quarter time about the breeze and the effect of it, we won't really know until half time who has an advantage here. Certainly the Saints have a lot of wind-assisted time left, and they've whittled the deficit, which was 9 points, down to just 1. Gowans keeps the ball in.
Okay, boys, he may have missed the St Kilda bench. Mitchell, Ryan, Elliott, Campbell.
I've missed a quarter of football, Curls. I don't know what's going on.
I think the other important thing too, Curls, just looking around these stoppages in St Kilda's forward line, they've just got far too many players around the ball. Watson would probably want his leaders of the club to draw players out from that area.
Yeah, but I think Malcolm would be the opposite, to try and to counteract that height advantage. Just block it up a bit.
Now they've brought it to the forward line. Nobody for Hart to kick to. McGregor, poor old hand pass by Hart. Burke. Best on ground for the Saints last week, and it's run over the line by Wakeland.
So I think the point with that, Wheels, too, though, is when you're a forward, you can control your own starting point. Defenders will follow the forward, irrespective whether you stay close to the contest or suck away from the contest. As far as I'm concerned, there's too many players around those stoppages. You've got to draw away from that contest and allow the Harveys and the Thompsons, players who are quality in that part of the ground, to be used in that part of the ground.
Burke to Francis, kicked by Tony Francis.
Good pickup.
Great pickup at the half volley. That was by McLaren. Back to Thompson. Punch at the back by Bassett, but it only went sideways to Smart. Concedes 15 metres. Back to James. Short pass to Rasciuto on the defensive 50.
Gowers off with a left thigh injury.
Rasciuto's kick into the breeze on the bounce to Vardy. His kick with plenty of height. Not sure he wanted to kick it that high into the breeze. Edwards is there. It comes to Francis. Francis towards the broadcast wing. Aussie Jones has been a star. And the ball beats him out of bounds. But Mick, on your point, I suppose the forwards can peel off and make position, but the backs can just play a zone, and they can get back there in numbers and just muck you up.
I think what Malcolm's trying to do is also push their half-forward line deep as possible and their wingers. But at the end of the day, defenders defend, and you certainly got to stay close to your direct opponent, especially in the opposition's forward half.
So we're 12 minutes into the second quarter. The only goal has been scored by St Kilda, so they've now moved into just a 1-point deficit against the Adelaide score.
And Wheels inside 50 at this stage. St Kilda 21 to Adelaide 11. So in terms of efficiency with the amount of times you've gone forward, Adelaide have been very productive.
Here's McLeod.
Yeah, but gee, Francis is playing him very tightly, Wills.
I think it's been a good one there for Tim Watson. Tony Francis. Been a great pickup, really. I mean, that's why Tim Watson prioritised him in the pre-season draft, picking him up, and hasn't let him down at all.
It's great to see Tony do that role. Played with him for 9 years or 8 years at Collingwood. Very rarely when he was given that opportunity, he didn't really accept it. But now it's a part of his makeup, and see him change his game, even though he's in his twilight years. It's a credit to him, and also the coaching and belief systems of Tim Watson.
But that can allow him to stretch his career another year or two too.
Well, exactly
Just
right.
At 30 years of age, still a fit man, Tony Francis.
No doubt.
So Shane Wakeland does the ruck work. Thompson can't get it on out. Bickley does, but it's intercepted. The Saints are away. Burke under late pressure gets the foot onto the ball, and the kick doesn't go where he wants it, and Hart sitting back takes the mark. Then Hart in defence. Been averaging 14 disposals a week. There's the inside 50. 8-1 in this quarter. Lowe takes a bounce as the big man. He should get this inside 50 to make it 9. It wobbles up that way. Doesn't fall short. Right on the line, and Hart again repels, working here with Kane Johnson.
Yeah, well, the inside 50 is 8-1, but they've kicked just 1 goal, 2-0. So just as in the first quarter, they've wasted their chances up forward. Low marks on centre wing. Very short. Young across the ground. Smart backing into his opponent, and Thompson will take Smart takes the free kick.
A good play there by Smart. He just denied the space for Thompson to jump into. Very smart awareness, and a 50-metre penalty to Nigel Smart. He received one in the first quarter. Also one in the second quarter. Now, you dare say Nigel Smart could be in kicking distance. He'll kick from probably 48 metres.
Well, I don't know. That's more Smart backing into Thompson rather than Thompson pushing him in the back, surely.
Bit of experience there.
Yep.
The old bull against the young one.
Absolutely. Conned a free kick and got a 50. And into the breeze, Nigel Smart kicks a great goal.
Magnificent kick.
Would that penalty been from verbal, boys?
No, it was for holding. The umpire actually indicated, Curls, that Thompson held the jumper of Smart, and that's the reason why the 50-metre penalty was given.
Okay.
So Smart gets his second.
And before the game, fellas, he did set himself a goal. He did set himself an objective 3 goals for the game.
Yeah, we actually stipulated that. Good call, Curls. 2 goals he's already kicked.
Free kick to Thompson.
Well, that was a triple whammy. Firstly the free kick, then the 50, and then just about the goal of the day.
Andrew Thompson long into the half forward. Lowe's caught behind. Ben Thompson off the ground. Bounces into some space, leading the race. Bassett does very well, the fullback on the left foot. The kick doesn't get out. Harvey directly back to Lowe. Lowe goes short and he finds Mitchell. Finds Hall. Well, they've got it to the man they want to have it, and that's Barry Hall. Their leading goal scorer for the year. 37 goals now to date.
Wasn't Harvey terrific in that contest? Well, marked the footy, and in the same motion handballed the ball to Lowe to set up Mitchell, who in turn released the ball to Hall. Good teamwork all round by St Kilda.
Hall has 1 goal that in the first quarter. From 45 metres out, he's got 2 now.
It can happen at any time. You're building a bridge or moving a fridge and you feel like you're just gonna burst. You sure got a thirst. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. And the best cold beer is Vic.
So the Saints back to within a point midway through the second quarter. Everett, and Herbert goes up against him. It goes St Kilda's way. Good use of the body by Herbert, but Hayes is over it, and the umpire will ball it up. So that's all Adelaide wanted out of that, a secondary baller.
Drew, I may have missed his work, but Kimmy Koska, do you boys just tell us what his stats are? I think he's having a pretty quiet day.
Yeah, you're quite right. Just
kicks.
2 kicks. No handballs. Herbert wins in ruck. Oh, Harvey, brilliant. Gee, it was well stolen by Johnson. Jarman well up the ground with Hudson. Maxey runs away from him. Wide to the wing. That's great running by Robbie Harvey. When he wins the Brownlow, the Crows win the flag. I don't think either will happen this year. On the 50, Rashudo. In he comes, Johnson. Well run by the Crows. Bickley to Vardy. Vardy to half forward. Young from behind. Good mark.
Young into Francis. Tony Francis from centre half back doesn't make good use of the football. And Tyson Edwards. The Crows now with their opportunity. Johnson, game number 50 into the forward line. Hudson stands in front of the charging McGregor and takes the mark.
Yeah, and that was bad play there by Adelaide. Darren Jarman was free across half forward. Should have been used with a short kick to break up the play because weight of numbers favoured St Kilda deep in the Adelaide Crows forward line.
So Francis and Burke get it back to Hudson, who gives it back to Burke, who comes directly across to Young. When they switch the play like that, they need to keep the forward momentum going because they can have it stolen just like it is on this occasion. And the kick from Young was a poor one.
It's passed off hands. Wheels. Just at times St Kilda just try to be too cute with their disposal rather than getting long the ball to Lowe, Everett or Hall in a quick manner.
Stenglein quickly in the contest, gets the kick out and falls to Jarman. Well, there's the advantage in just getting the ball out quickly. And here's the run of Johnson, and he's got it.
That's a beautiful kick.
You wouldn't mind playing in front of Darren Jarman, would you?
He'd certainly know when to lead.
I can't quite work out from a Crows point of view why this boy doesn't spend more time on the ground.
His work rate's pretty good.
He is. It's 21, game number 50, and already 2 premierships under his belt. He's missed on this occasion. A good pickup for the Adelaide Crows without doubt. A lot of injuries during his career, groin and hamstring problems, but on the big occasions he's been there, Kane Johnson. St Kilda now defending deep in defence. Peckett kicks towards Ziller. It's spoiled away. Ziller gets a second chance. They need to be aggressive in going through centre half forward. That handball doesn't hit the target. Stenglein taken in the tackle. Hart comes. Mitchell doing the tackling on Smart. Smart getting angry, there's no doubt about it. He's got something to say to the umpire, but eventually settles down and gives the ball back.
Well done by Nigel Smart, though. He had probably 3 players to beat if he didn't win this ball at ground level. Watch this. He comes in from the top of the screen. 1, 2, 3 players around the ball for St Kilda. Smart held it in the area. Very good play.
Now the Saints go forward. Punch out of defence by Rashudo. Robbie Harvey leads the race for the ball. Brilliant football by the dual Brownlow medalist. Look at that. He's missed a month with a calf injury. Brilliant stuff, Harvey. Comes to the front to Mitchell, but he's lost control of it. James, well, Herbert didn't know which way to go. Barry Hall's got it right in front. The hand pass should be a goal to Hayes. Only just.
Honey, sure you know where you're going?
Sweetheart, it's me driving.
You're on the wrong side of the road.
Must be his first time on a bike.
Dad!
Second quarter at Waverley, St Kilda hit the lead for the first time in the game. They trailed by as much as 15 points in the first quarter. They've worked their way back with 3 goals in this second quarter. Adelaide now searching for their second. There's the strong tackling in the forward line. St Kilda can't clear. McLeod also taken in a tackle. The tackle held on too long by Thompson. That's Ben Thompson. The free kick comes back to Andy McLeod.
Nigel Smart should be used too.
They use Burton. Stands, delivers long. Wakeland spoils. Rushes it through for the behind. St Kilda trail by 3. They lead by 3.
Yeah, Drew, I was just watching Mark Stevens doing a bit of a run with the warm-up. You're right, he is not 100% fit.
Yeah, actually, I even thought he might have got a bit of a knock in about the first minute of the game.
Who too?
I reckon the first contest might have fixed him up a bit.
Yeah, he may well have.
Shane Wakeland to the outer side. Joey McLaren, who's been good, singling his new opponent. McLaren gets a free kick for interference. 8 disposals to Joey McLaren and one very good goal into forward towards Hall. Floats on over the back. A good one. Slaps it back here towards Hart. He's trying to find Risciuto. Eventually the toe poke from Hall comes to Risciuto and relieves for the Crows.
To midfield, Vardy to Smart, who's run brilliantly today, Nigel Smart. Long to an open forward line. McGregor in the goal square. Good boy.
Yeah, just good body use against Wakeland, his opponent. Just held his ground, very strong in the contest. Great penetrating kick there by Nigel Smart as Peter Everett is coming from the ground. Elliott gets his first run for the day. But promising young player is Ken McGregor from West Torrens in South Australia. Had a quiet day at this stage, but difficult position to ask to play at a young age, centre forward.
To get the lead back, and he's done it.
Spring's around the corner. Find out what you should be planting now.
Look a little bit sparse at the moment.
And in just...
So Ken McGregor, game number 5, goal number 5. So he's kicked one in each of his games. As Ben Hart comes off under the blood rule. Yeah, Rod Jamison, the player going on.
Nothing serious, Terry. Just a minor patch-up job.
So he shan't be off for too long. It is nearly half-time. We're 25 minutes into this second quarter.
A few band-aids have been needed, though.
There has. Some superficial cuts. Peter Everett sitting, looking on. He sees his side trailing by 3 points now. Big Herbert takes advantage of Everett's absence, gets well up in the air. McLeod with Bickley. The Crows very good out of the centre bounce. Johnson goes long, but there's Darryl Wakeland. In defence to Young. The runner for St Kilda from half-back. Comes on out wide towards Thompson. Ben Thompson it is. His left foot kick. Low leads, low marks. Very good. All of it probably down low. Up he gets. Now there's a crowded forward line for the Saints. Decides to go wide. Smart camps underneath it. Elliott does well to slap it away. Smart up to the task at ground level. Andrew Thompson couldn't find it. Harvey can. Steps around. Taken very well by Johnson in the tackle. Releases McLeod through the centre of the ground. Benke takes the mark. Crows much more direct into their forward line. Here's the run. Burton's got it.
And Terry, this is when they're most dangerous, when they do break from half-back.
And they've got targets everywhere in the forward line just at the moment.
It's been interesting watching the two sides actually go into their forward area. Jamison, as he took a very good contested mark once again, had a little bit of pressure from two St Kilda opponents. Here it is here, the marking contest. Wakeland just couldn't get there. But in actual fact, if Jamison kicks this goal, 7 of the 8 goals that will be scored are all being from marks inside their forward 50.
Normally a reliable kick.
And curls, he has let you down, mate.
I'll retract that.
Hopeless kick. Crows by 4 points. Grimace on the face of St Kilda first-year coach Tim Watson. Of course, Tim was working for Channel 7 when St Kilda played the Crows 2 years ago in the grand final. So he's got no revenge to seek out of this game, but I'm sure a few of the players have. After the Crows won by 31 points after trailing at half-time.
Hart ready again.
Kick by Francis to Wakeland. In he comes to Zilla. He's got Nathan Burke, but doesn't want him. Zilla goes for distance. Lowe! Magnificent mark! He is back in town today, Stewie Lowe.
Yeah, he had his name written all over that. Jumped early, got a little bit of a ride in the marking contest, but those familiar big mitts across that ball, he made sure it was his and his only. Look at that, jumped early, eyes on it, vice-like grip, and brought it to ground.
And Mickey is always going to be a danger with the lack of height in the Crows team today.
Yep, certainly good call, Curls.
Well, he's already taken 8 marks today, and in this 7-week slump that Saints have gone through, he's averaged only 5 a game. In that 7 weeks, they lost 5 of them. So his form was down and the team's was down. Today, he's back in town.
And his normal player, Pittman, of course, is unavailable.
So the Saints trailing by 4 points. Stewie Lowe to put them back in front. It's away to the right. He's missed it. Missed a golden opportunity. Well, the mark deserved a goal.
Yeah, well, 6 of his kicks this quarter have come from 5 of the marks that he's taken. But that is a terrific contested mark in front of goal. But unfortunately, Stewie Lowe's kicking at times can let himself down and also the team down.
So from the resultant behind, the ball ends up with James. Gives it off to Johnson. So James in his 100th to Johnson in his 50th. Bickley, Jarman, Johnson on the overlap. Excellent kick out wide. Benke takes the mark. Falls when he needed to keep his feet because there was Crows flying everywhere. Turns around now into the forward line. McGregor does well ground level. Just smart right on the siren. The kick missed. The score won't count. But the Crows finish the quarter full of running into their forward line. Whereas on the other hand, St Kilda have tended to be stagnant out of defence. Haven't generated that run they want yet. And they find themselves trailing by 3 points. Big question mark on St Kilda is their third quarter, where over the last couple of months they've gone missing in that quarter. Going in today's game, they'd only kicked 48 goals in the third quarter compared to 74 by their opponents. So it's a big halftime break for Tim Watson.
And a happy position for the Crows to be leading at halftime by 3, 7-4 to 6-7.